Part 1. The Abandonment. The medical bay on Station Omega-7 smelled like disinfectant and sadness. Dr. Sarah Chen walked through the white corridors, her footsteps echoing in the quiet space. She had been working here for 3 years, studying alien biology and helping sick creatures from across the galaxy. But today felt different. Today something was wrong. Sarah stopped at bed number 12. A small figure lay under the medical sheets, barely moving. The patient was a Zalani, one of the proud warrior aliens with skin that looked like living crystal. But this wasn't a warrior. This was just a child. "How is she doing?" Sarah asked Dr. Vex, the station's head doctor. Dr. Vex was a tall, thin alien with 4 arms and no emotions on his gray face. "The young Zalani will live," Dr. Vex said in his cold voice. "But her spine is broken. She will never walk again. Her people are coming to collect their dead from the pirate attack." Sarah looked down at the small alien girl. She couldn't be more than 10 years old in human years. Her crystal-like skin was dull and cracked. Tubes and wires connected her to strange machines that beeped softly. The girl's large purple eyes stared at the ceiling, empty and lost. "What's her name?" Sarah asked. "The Zalani call her Kira Shan Vel. It means bright star of morning in their language," Dr. Vex said. "But names do not matter now. She is broken." Sarah felt her heart twist. She had seen many injured aliens before, but something about this little girl made her chest hurt. When will her family take her home? Soon. The Zalani ship arrives in 2 hours. Sarah nodded and left the medical bay. But she couldn't stop thinking about the girl. She tried to work on her research, but her mind kept going back to those empty, purple eyes. She had studied Zalani culture before. They were proud, strong people who valued physical power above everything else. Warriors who could lift small cars and fight with crystal weapons that grew from their own bodies. But what happened to Zalani who couldn't fight? 2 hours later, Sarah heard loud voices coming from the medical bay. She rushed back to see what was happening. 3 tall Zalani adults stood around Kira's bed. They wore dark robes and had crystal growths on their heads like crowns. Their leader was an old female with scars across her face. "Elder Xanthul," Dr. Vex said with a bow, "we have prepared your dead for transport, and the injured child is ready to go home." The Zalani elder looked down at Kira with disgust. "This one is not coming with us." "I'm sorry?" Dr. Vex's 4 arms moved in confusion. "But she is Zalani. She is one of your people." "No," Elder Xanthul said firmly. "This creature cannot walk, cannot fight, cannot serve the great warrior spirit of our people. She is no longer Zalani." Sarah felt sick. She stepped forward. "Wait, you can't just leave her here. She's a child." The elder turned her cold eyes to Sarah. "Human, you do not understand our ways. A broken vessel cannot hold the warrior spirit. To take her home would be to dishonor our ancestors and weaken our people." "But she's just a little girl," Sarah said, her voice getting louder. "She didn't choose to get hurt. She needs help, not abandonment." The other Zalani made clicking sounds with their mouths. Elder Xanthul raised her hand, and they became quiet. "The human speaks of things she does not know. We are not cruel. We are practical. This broken thing would suffer among warriors. Better to let her die with dignity here." "Die?" Sarah couldn't believe what she was hearing. "You're going to let a child die because she can't walk?" "It is our way," the elder said. She pulled out a small crystal device and held it over Kira's head. The device began to glow with blue light. "I now cut her connection to the great mind of our people. She will no longer hear our thoughts or share our dreams. She is alone now, as she should be." The device flashed bright blue. Kira's body went stiff for a moment, then she made a terrible crying sound. Not like a human cry, but like crystal breaking. Her purple eyes went even more empty than before. Sarah watched in horror as the 3 Zilani adults walked away without looking back. Dr. Vex and the other medical staff just stood there, doing nothing. "You can't let them do this," Sarah shouted. Dr. Vex shook his head sadly. "It is not our place to judge alien customs, Dr. Chen. Each species has their own ways." Sarah looked around the medical bay. Other aliens were there too. Corvin traders with their thick blue skin, Thessian diplomats with their tall, thin bodies, and Merc engineers with their metal arms. All of them had heard what happened. All of them were doing nothing. "What about you?" Sarah asked a Corvin trader. "Your people adopt orphans from other species, right?" The Corvin made a deep rumbling sound. "Only strong orphans who can work on our ships. This little one is useless to us." Sarah turned to the Thessian diplomats. "Your people are famous for being wise and caring. Surely you can help her." The lead, Thessian spoke in a voice like music. "We feel deep sadness for the child's situation, but our society is built around mental connections. Without telepathy, she would be lost among us." One by one, Sarah asked every alien in the medical bay. One by one, they all said no. They gave reasons: cultural differences, practical problems, legal issues. But Sarah could see the truth in their eyes. None of them wanted to deal with a broken alien child. Finally, Sarah stood alone next to Kira's bed. The little girl was still making that terrible crystal-breaking sound. Tears rolled down her face, looking like liquid diamonds. "Dr. Chen," Dr. Vex said quietly, "the child will die within days without her people's mental connection. It would be a mercy to make her comfortable and let nature take its course." Sarah looked down at Kira. The little alien's hand was lying on top of the medical sheets. It was small and delicate, with fingers that ended in tiny crystal points. Without thinking, Sarah reached out and took the small hand in hers. Kira's crying stopped. She turned her head and looked at Sarah with those big purple eyes. For the first time since Sarah had met her, there was something in those eyes besides emptiness. It was hope. "Dr. Vex," Sarah said, still holding Kira's hand, "I need to speak with the station administrator about emergency custody procedures." "Dr. Chen, you cannot be serious," Dr. Vex said. "Humans have never successfully raised an alien child. The biological differences alone—" "Wait," Sarah said, her voice cutting through the medical bay's sterile silence. She looked down at Kira, who was squeezing her hand with surprising strength. "Someone has to try." Part 2. An Unlikely Family. 3 days had passed since Sarah decided to take care of Kira. Those 3 days felt like 3 years. Sarah sat in her small quarters on Station Omega 7, watching Kira sleep on the makeshift bed she had built. The little Zilani girl was so quiet that sometimes Sarah had to check if she was still breathing. Kira hadn't spoken a single word since her people left her. She only made soft clicking sounds and looked at Sarah with those big purple eyes. "Good morning, sweetheart," Sarah said softly as Kira's eyes opened. She had started calling her sweetheart because Kira's real name was too hard to say correctly. Kira made a series of clicks and musical sounds. Sarah wished she could understand what the little girl was trying to say. The universal translator only worked with adult alien languages, not child speech. Sarah helped Kira sit up and gave her breakfast, a special liquid food that Dr. Vex had made for Zilani biology. Kira drank it slowly, never taking her eyes off Sarah's face. "I know this is scary," Sarah said, even though she knew Kira couldn't understand her words. "But I promise I won't leave you." There was a loud knock on Sarah's door. She opened it, to find Administrator Collins, a fat human man with an angry red face. "Dr. Chen, this situation has gone too far," he said, pushing into her quarters. "You cannot keep an alien child here. This is a research station, not an orphanage." "She has nowhere else to go," Sarah said, standing between Collins and Kira's. Bed. That is not our problem, Collins said. I've been getting complaints from other species. They say humans are too emotional and make bad decisions. You're making all of us look weak. Sarah felt anger rising in her chest. Weak? Because I care about a hurt child? Yes, exactly, Collins said. The Corvin traders are laughing at us. The Thessians think we're foolish. Even the Merc engineers say humans get attached to things that should be thrown away. Sarah looked back at Kira, who was watching them with frightened eyes. I don't care what they think. Well, I do, Collins said. You have two choices, Dr. Chen. Get rid of the alien child or I'll transfer you back to Earth, and the child stays here to die. Sarah's heart stopped. She couldn't let Kira die alone on this cold station. What if I request a transfer to Earth and take her with me? Collins laughed. The Earth government will never let you bring an alien child home, especially one that's useless. She's not useless, Sarah said firmly. She's just hurt. Same thing, Collins said. You have 24 hours to decide. After Collins left, Sarah sat on her bed and put her head in her hands. How could she save Kira? She didn't know anything about raising children, especially alien children. She didn't even know what Kira needed to eat or how to take care of her crystal-like skin. Kira made a soft, clicking sound. Sarah looked up to see the little girl reaching out her small hand. Sarah took it, and Kira squeezed gently. You're trying to comfort me, aren't you? Sarah whispered. Even though you're the one who's scared and alone. That night, Sarah made her decision. She sent a message to Dr. Maria Santos at the Xenological Institute on Earth. Dr. Santos had been Sarah's teacher in college and was now one of Earth's top experts on alien biology. The next morning, Dr. Santos called back. Sarah, are you crazy? Dr. Santos said over the video screen. You want to adopt an alien child? Do you know how much paperwork that involves? How many laws you might be breaking? Maria, please, Sarah said. She'll die if I don't help her. Her own people abandoned her because she can't walk. Dr. Santos was quiet for a moment. Send me her medical files. Let me see what we're dealing with. 2 hours later, Dr. Santos called back. This is interesting, Sarah, very interesting. I think I can get you a research grant to study cross-species care on Earth. The government is always interested in understanding alien biology better. Really? Sarah felt hope for the first time in days. Yes, but there are conditions. You'll have to document everything, every meal, every medical check, every interaction. And if the child becomes dangerous or dies, it's your responsibility. She won't become dangerous, Sarah said. She's just a little girl. A little girl with crystal skin and telepathic abilities that even we don't understand, Dr. Santos said. But yes, I'll help you. I can have the transfer papers ready in a week. Sarah felt tears in her eyes. Thank you, Maria. Thank you so much. The week passed slowly. Sarah spent every moment with Kira, trying to learn how to take care of her. She discovered that Kira liked music. When Sarah hummed songs, the little girl's crystal skin would glow softly. She also learned that Kira was much smarter than anyone thought. When Sarah showed her pictures on her tablet, Kira quickly learned to point at things she wanted. Other aliens on the station watched Sarah with confusion. The Corvin traders shook their blue heads and made rumbling sounds of disapproval. The Thessians whispered among themselves in their musical language. The Merc engineers just stared with their metal eyes. The human is foolish, Sarah heard one Corvin say to another. Her species makes emotional bonds with anything. It makes them weak. Perhaps, said a Thessian diplomat. But it also makes them interesting. No other species would care for a broken child from another world. On the day before they were supposed to leave for Earth, Dr. Vex came to Sarah's quarters for a final medical check on Kira. Her condition is stable, he said, scanning Kira with his medical devices. But Dr. Chen, you must understand, without Her connection to the Zalani group mind, she may never develop properly. She could remain mentally like a small child forever. Then I'll take care of her forever, Sarah said simply. Dr. Vex's gray face showed something that might have been surprise. Your species is very strange, Dr. Chen. Maybe, Sarah said, watching Kira play with a small toy she had made from spare parts. But strange isn't always bad. The night before their departure, Sarah packed their few belongings. Kira watched from her bed, making soft, clicking sounds. We're going to my home planet tomorrow, Sarah told her. Earth. It's very different from here, but I think you'll like it. There are trees and oceans and music everywhere. Kira tilted her head, listening to Sarah's voice even though she couldn't understand the words. Then something amazing happened. Kira opened her mouth and made a sound Sarah had never heard before. It wasn't clicking or musical tones. It was soft and gentle, like a human lullaby. Sarah realized that Kira had been listening to her humming every night and was trying to copy the sounds. The little alien girl was learning to make human music. That's beautiful, sweetheart, Sarah whispered, tears running down her face. We're going to be okay, both of us. As they prepared for their journey to Earth, neither Sarah nor Kira knew that their bond was about to change everything, not just for them, but for the entire galaxy. Part 3. Hidden Strength. 6 months had passed since Sarah and Kira arrived on Earth. Their new home was a small apartment near the Xenological Institute in Geneva, Switzerland. Sarah had painted Kira's room soft blue with glow-in-the-dark stars on the ceiling. The little Zalani girl loved looking at them before sleep. Good morning, my star, Sarah said as she entered Kira's room with breakfast. It had become their daily routine. Kira sat up in her special bed and smiled. Over the months, her crystal skin had become brighter, and her purple eyes sparkled with life. Good morning, Mama Sarah, she said in clear English. Sarah's heart still jumped with joy every time Kira called her Mama. The little girl had learned English incredibly fast, much faster than any human child could. She could now speak 3 human languages and was starting to learn Mandarin just by watching TV. What do you want to do today? Sarah asked, helping Kira into her wheelchair. Sarah had built it herself using special materials that wouldn't hurt Kira's crystal skin. Can we visit Dr. Marcus? Kira asked excitedly. He promised to show me the new star maps. Dr. Marcus Webb was Sarah's research partner at the Institute. At first, he had been worried about having an alien child around the lab, but Kira had won him over quickly with her amazing intelligence and sweet personality. They went to the Institute together. Sarah pushed Kira's wheelchair through the halls, and everyone they met smiled and waved at the little girl. Kira had become the unofficial mascot of the research center. There's my favorite little scientist, Dr. Marcus said as they entered his lab. He was a tall, thin man with gray hair and kind eyes. Dr. Marcus! Kira clapped her hands together, making tiny crystal chiming sounds. Show me the new pictures from space. Dr. Marcus pulled up images on his big computer screen. They showed distant galaxies and colorful nebulas. But instead of just looking at them like a normal child, Kira began pointing at specific stars and making mathematical calculations in her head. That star system has 4 planets, Kira said, pointing at a tiny dot of light. The third one might have water. Sarah and Dr. Marcus looked at each other in amazement. The space telescope had just discovered those planets last week. There was no way Kira should know about them. How did you know that, sweetheart? Sarah asked. Kira looked confused. I can see the patterns in the light. Can't everyone do that? Over. The following weeks, Kira continued to surprise everyone. She solved complex math problems that university students struggled with. She could look at alien artifacts and immediately understand how they worked. She even helped Dr. Marcus fix a broken computer by pointing out exactly which part was damaged. Sarah, we need to talk, Dr. Marcus said one day after Kira had fallen asleep in the lab while reading a physics textbook. They went to Dr. Marcus's office and closed the door. "What Kira is doing shouldn't be possible," Dr. Marcus said. "She's showing intelligence levels that are beyond even adult Zalani, and her ability to understand different technologies, it's like she can see patterns that we can't." "What are you saying?" Sarah asked, though she had been thinking the same thing. "I think your care is changing her, Sarah. Somehow, your emotional bond with her is unlocking abilities that her own people never saw." Sarah shook her head. "That sounds impossible." "Is it?" Dr. Marcus pulled up research files on his computer. "I've been studying your daily reports for months. Every time you show Kira love and attention, her brain scans show increased activity. Her neural pathways are growing in ways we've never seen before. But the Zalani elders said she was broken, that she could never be fixed. Maybe they were wrong," Dr. Marcus said. "Or maybe being broken from their society allowed her to develop in a completely new way." That evening, Sarah sat with Kira on their apartment balcony, looking up at the stars. Kira was humming softly. She had learned dozens of human songs and even created some of her own. "Mama Sarah," Kira said quietly, "why did my first people leave me?" Sarah had been dreading this question for months. "They thought you couldn't be strong like them anymore." "But I am strong," Kira said, confusion in her voice. "I can solve problems they can't solve. I can see things they can't see. Why didn't they understand?" Sarah hugged her daughter gently. "Sometimes grown-ups make mistakes, sweetheart. Even grown-ups who think they're very wise." The next week, Dr. Marcus made an incredible discovery. While studying Kira's old medical files from the space station, he found something that everyone had missed. "Sarah, look at this," he said excitedly, showing her brain scans on his computer. "Kira's spinal injury. It's healing." "What?" Sarah couldn't believe it. "But Dr. Vex said it was permanent." Dr. Vex was wrong. "Look at these new scans I took yesterday. Her crystal nervous system is regenerating, but very slowly. At this rate, she might be able to walk again in a few years." Sarah felt tears in her eyes. "Does this mean—" "It means the Zalani abandoned a child who could have recovered. They didn't even try to help her heal." Dr. Marcus looked angry. "But there's more, Sarah. I think your emotional care is speeding up the healing process." "How is that possible?" "I have a theory, but it sounds crazy," Dr. Marcus said. "What if human emotional bonds create some kind of energy field that promotes healing in other species? What if love actually has a biological effect that we don't understand yet?" Sarah thought about all the small moments over the past months, holding Kira when she had nightmares, singing to her when she was scared, celebrating every small achievement. Could love really be healing Kira's body? "There's something else," Dr. Marcus continued. "Yesterday, while you were reading to Kira, our equipment detected strange energy patterns around both of you. It was like your minds were connecting somehow." "Connecting how?" "I'm not sure yet. But Sarah, I think Kira might be developing new telepathic abilities, not like the old Zalani group mind, but something completely different, something that works with humans." That night, Sarah tucked Kira into bed and sang her favorite lullaby. As she sang, Kira's crystal skin glowed softly, and Sarah felt a warm feeling in her heart, like they were sharing the same emotions. "Mama." "Sarah," Kira whispered as Sarah was leaving the room. "Yes, sweetheart. I can feel your love. It feels like sunshine inside my mind." Sarah stood in the doorway, amazed. Could Kira really feel her emotions? Could their bond be deeper than she had ever imagined? As she watched her daughter fall asleep, Sarah realized that they were both changing. Kira was becoming something new and wonderful, but Sarah was changing too. She was learning that love could do things that science couldn't explain. Neither of them knew that their incredible bond was about to attract attention from across the galaxy, attention that would change their quiet life forever. Part 4. The awakening 1 year after arriving on Earth, Kira did something that changed everything. Sarah was in the Institute's cafeteria, having lunch with Dr. Marcus and 3 other researchers. Kira sat in her wheelchair next to Sarah, quietly, drawing pictures of stars and planets. The cafeteria was busy with scientists from many different countries, all talking about their work. Suddenly, Kira looked up from her drawing and stared at Dr. Yuki Tanaka, a Japanese scientist sitting at the next table. Dr. Tanaka was eating alone and looked very sad. "Mama Sarah," Kira whispered. "The lady is thinking about her sick father in Japan. She's scared he will die before she can visit him." Sarah nearly choked on her food. "What did you say?" "She's very sad inside," Kira said simply. "Her father has heart problems and she can't afford to fly home." Dr. Marcus heard this and looked shocked. "Kira, how could you possibly know that?" "I can hear her feelings," Kira said, confused by their surprise. "Can't you hear them too?" Sarah and Dr. Marcus exchanged worried looks. No one had told Dr. Tanaka about Kira's developing abilities, and Dr. Tanaka was sitting too far away for Kira to overhear any conversation. "Stay here with Dr. Marcus," Sarah told Kira. She walked over to Dr. Tanaka's table. "Excuse me, Dr. Tanaka," Sarah said gently. "Are you all right? You look upset." Dr. Tanaka looked up with tears in her eyes. "I'm sorry. I just got a call from home. My father is in the hospital with heart problems, but I can't afford to fly to Japan right now." Sarah felt chills run down her spine. Kira had been exactly right. Over the next few days, Dr. Marcus ran careful tests on Kira. What they discovered was incredible and frightening at the same time. "She can read emotions from any species," Dr. Marcus explained to Sarah in his office. "Not just humans, but Corvin, Thessian, Merc, any alien we've tested. This should be completely impossible." "How is she doing it?" Sarah asked. "I think her brain injury changed something fundamental about how her telepathy works," Dr. Marcus said. "Normal Zalani can only connect to other Zalani minds, but Kira's abilities have evolved into something completely new." "Is it dangerous?" "I don't think so. She only reads emotions, not thoughts, and she seems to have natural control over it." Dr. Marcus paused. "But Sarah, if other people find out about this..." "What do you mean?" "Think about it. A telepath who can read any species. Governments would want to use her as a spy. Alien races would want to study her or steal her. She could become the most valuable person in the galaxy." Sarah felt scared. "What should we do?" "We keep it secret for now," Dr. Marcus said. "But we can't hide it forever." Unfortunately, they couldn't hide it at all. 2 weeks later, 3 black cars arrived at the Xenological Institute. Men in dark suits got out and walked straight to Dr. Marcus's lab. Sarah was there with Kira working on her daily lessons. "Dr. Chen," said the lead man, showing an official badge. "I'm Agent Williams, from Earth Security. We need to talk to you about the alien child." "What about her?" Sarah asked, moving protectively in front of Kira's wheelchair. "We've been monitoring your research reports," Agent Williams said. "This child has developed abilities that could be extremely valuable to Earth security." "She's just a little girl," Sarah said firmly. "A little girl who can read alien minds?" Agent Williams replied. "Do you understand what that means? She could help us negotiate better trade deals, prevent alien attacks, understand technologies that other species don't want to share." Kira looked frightened and reached for Sarah's hand. "Mama Sarah, they want to take me away from you." Agent Williams stared at Kira with cold eyes. "The child will be well cared for at our research facility. She'll receive the best education and training." "No," Sarah said. "She stays with me." "Dr. Chen, this is bigger than your personal feelings," Agent Williams said. "This child could help protect all of humanity." Before Sarah could answer, more visitors arrived. The Institute's security alarm started ringing, and Dr. Marcus came running into the lab. "Sarah, we have a problem," he said breathlessly. "There's a Zalani ship outside Earth's atmosphere. They're requesting permission to land." Agent Williams spoke into his radio. "This is Williams. Confirm alien vessel approach." A voice crackled. Back. "Confirmed. Large Zalani warship. They're demanding to speak with someone about the lost child." Sarah's heart sank. "They've come for Kira." 2 hours later, the same Elder Xanthul who had abandoned Kira on the space station walked into the Institute's main conference room. She looked exactly the same, tall, proud, and cold. With her came 2 younger Zalani warriors and a small army of Earth security agents. Kira sat in her wheelchair next to Sarah, trembling with fear. She remembered the elder who had cut her connection to her people. "So," Elder Xanthul said, looking down at Kira with new interest, "the broken child has become something useful after all." "She was never broken," Sarah said angrily. "You abandoned her when she needed help most." "We left a damaged child to die with dignity," the elder replied. "But we have heard interesting reports of impossible abilities, mental powers that could change the balance of the galaxy." Agent Williams stepped forward. "Elder Xanthul, we appreciate your interest, but the child is now under Earth's protection." "The child is Zalani," the elder said firmly. "She belongs with her own people." "You gave up that right when you abandoned her," Sarah said. Elder Xanthul ignored Sarah and spoke directly to Kira. "Child, you have developed powers beyond anything our people have ever seen. Come home with us, and you will be honored as the greatest Zalani who ever lived." Kira was quiet for a long moment. Then she looked up at the elder with those bright purple eyes. "I can feel your emotions," Kira said quietly. "You're not proud of me. You're afraid of me. You want to use me." The elder's face showed surprise. "Child, you misunderstand." "No," Kira said, her voice getting stronger. "You left me to die. Mama Sarah saved me. She loved me when I was broken. She helped me become strong. I am not your people anymore." Elder Xanthul's crystal skin began to glow with anger. "Foolish child. You have been corrupted by human weakness." "If love is weakness," Kira said, "then I choose to be weak." The room fell silent. Agent Williams looked frustrated. The Zalani elder looked furious. Dr. Marcus looked worried, but Sarah looked proud. Her little girl had made her choice. Part 5. The New Paradigm. The conference room at the Xenological Institute was filled with tension. Elder Xanthul stood tall and angry. Agent Williams looked frustrated. Dr. Marcus seemed worried, but Kira sat calmly in her wheelchair, holding Sarah's hand. "I have an idea," Kira said quietly. Everyone turned to look at the small girl. "What if I could show you something? Something that might change how you think about everything?" "Child, you are in no position to make demands," Elder Xanthul said coldly. "I'm not making demands," Kira replied. "I'm offering a gift." She closed her purple eyes and took a deep breath. Suddenly, the air in the room seemed to shimmer with invisible energy. Agent Williams felt a wave of calm wash over his mind. For the first time in years, his constant worry about Earth's security faded away. He could suddenly understand why his wife got frustrated with his long work hours. Elder Xanthul gasped as she felt emotions she hadn't experienced in decades: compassion, love, and the pain of regret. She remembered what it felt like to care for others instead of just following rules. Dr. Marcus felt his mind expanding, seeing connections between his research that he had never noticed before. Scientific problems that had puzzled him for months suddenly seemed simple. Sarah felt warmth spreading through her heart as she experienced Kira's love for her, pure, innocent, and stronger than anything she had ever imagined. What did you do?" Agent Williams whispered. I shared what Mama Sarah taught me, Kira said, opening her eyes. I showed you how it feels to understand each other, to really care about someone else's happiness. Elder Xanthul sat down heavily in her chair. This is impossible. No Zilani has ever been able to share emotions with other species. Because you never tried, Kira said simply. You only connected with your own people. But Mama Sarah showed me that love doesn't care about what species you are. Dr. Marcus was writing notes quickly. Kira, can you do this with anyone? I think so, Kira said, but only if they want to understand. I can't force people to care about each other. Agent Williams looked confused. How does this help Earth's security? Kira smiled. What if instead of spying on aliens, we helped them solve their problems? What if instead of fighting, we taught them to understand each other like Mama Sarah taught me? That's naive, Agent Williams said. The galaxy is dangerous. Some species want to hurt us. Some humans want to hurt other humans too, Kira replied. But that doesn't mean all humans are bad. Maybe the species that seem dangerous are just scared or lonely, like I was before Mama Sarah found me. Elder Xanthul stood up slowly. Child, what you suggest would change everything. The Zilani have been warriors for 1,000 years. And how has that worked? Kira asked. Are your people happy? Do they feel loved and safe? The elder was quiet for a long moment. No, she admitted. We are strong, but we are not happy. Over the next few hours, something amazing happened. As they talked, Kira continued to share emotions between all the adults in the room. Agent Williams began to understand the elder's fear of appearing weak. Elder Xanthul started to feel the agent's genuine desire to protect his people. Dr. Marcus helped them both understand the scientific importance of what Kira could do. Finally, Sarah spoke up. What if we created something new? Not a research program or a military weapon, but a place where different species could learn to understand each other? What do you mean? Dr. Marcus asked. A school, Sarah said. A place where alien children who have been abandoned or rejected by their own people could come to learn and grow, where they could develop their abilities with love and support instead of fear and punishment. Kira's eyes lit up. Like a family for everyone who needs one. Agent Williams looked skeptical. The government would never approve something like that. They would if it worked, Dr. Marcus said thoughtfully. Think about it. Instead of one child with special abilities, we could have dozens. Instead of spies and weapons, we could have ambassadors and teachers. Elder Xanthul was quiet for a very long time. Finally, she spoke. There are other Zilani children who have been cast out for various reasons. Children who are too gentle for warrior life or too curious about other species. We have always seen them as failures. They're not failures, Sarah said. They're just different. And different can be wonderful. I would like to meet these children, Kira said softly. Maybe I could help them feel less alone. 3 months later, the first Interspecies Children's Center opened in Geneva. It was a beautiful building with gardens and playgrounds designed for many different types of alien biology. Sarah was the director, with Dr. Marcus as the head of research. Kira was the first student and also the first teacher. She worked with each new child who arrived, helping them understand their emotions and develop their unique abilities. Her wheelchair had been replaced with mobility supports that helped her walk short distances as her spine continued to heal. The center was home to 12 children from 6 different species. There was Zix, a young Corvin who was too small to work on the trading ships. Melody, a Thessian child whose telepathy was too weak for her people's standards. 3 Merc children whose curiosity about biology made their mechanical society uncomfortable. And there were 2 more Zilani children that Elder Xanthul had quietly brought to the center. Children who had been considered too soft for warrior. Training. Mama Sarah, Kira said one evening as they watched the children playing together in the garden. Do you think we really changed things? Sarah looked at the amazing sight before them. Alien children from different worlds were laughing and playing together, sharing toys and helping each other with their homework. Human families had begun, adopting some of the children, creating mixed-species families that no one had ever imagined before. "Yes, sweetheart," Sarah said, putting her arm around Kira. "I think we changed everything." News of the center had spread across the galaxy. Other species were beginning to question their own practices of abandoning imperfect children. The Sci-Fi Galactic Council had asked Sarah to speak at their next meeting about expanding the program to other worlds. But the most important change was in the children themselves. They were growing up knowing that love didn't depend on being the same species. They were learning that differences made them stronger, not weaker. "Mama Sarah," Kira said, watching a human boy teach a Zalani girl how to ride a bicycle. "I'm glad. My first people left me?" "Why?" Sarah asked, surprised. "Because if they hadn't, I never would have learned that family isn't about blood or species," Kira said. "It's about choosing to love each other." Sarah hugged her daughter tight, watching their impossible, wonderful family grow bigger every day. She had saved one abandoned alien child, but that child had ended up saving the galaxy's understanding of what love could do. In the distance, stars twinkled in the evening sky, the same stars that had once seemed so cold and far away. Now, they looked like invitations to new friendships waiting to be made.